In this video, we're going to look at fractions to decimals. Okay, so let's start off with 1/4. Right. So we get those 1/4. Hopefully we can get that one and know that 1/4 equals 0.25. Okay, now a lot of times that's not going to be the question, but that's a good starting point. All right, 1 out of 40, we're trying to solve that, is we would add a 0 to that, and 1 out of 40 equals 0.025. Okay, so as we add a 0 here, we put a 0 in front of that decimal place, and vice versa, right? If you saw 0.025, you would just think, okay, 0.25 equals 1/4, 0.025, 1 out of 40, one more, right? These are where people get confused, right? You have like 1 out of 400 and you look at it, again, just think, okay, what is 1 out of 4? And we're gonna add 2 zeros to it, right? So 1 out of 400, 0.0025, no problem. That's how that stuff's done. So when they're asking you that stuff, it usually will be like a fairly simple fraction, you know, like 1/3 or 1/4 or something like that, and they're gonna add a few zeros on there. You just gotta be comfortable with how to go about doing that with a decimal, just adding those zeros. Okay, so another time, let me give you something like this. 7 out of 23. Okay, so before you go about solving this, which there's a way to solve it, which unfortunately ends up, you know, setting up an equation equals x over 100, right? And then cross multiplying and solving. But when you look at your answer choices first, which you might not know what 7 out of 23 is. I don't. But maybe you know what 7 out of 21 is, right? 7 out of 21, if you reduce it, equals 1/3 or 0.33. And maybe you know what 7 out of 25 is, right? 7 out of 25 equals 28 out of 100, right? If you multiply top and bottom by 4, right? So probably the answer is somewhere between 0.28 and 0.33, like almost like right in the middle. That's what you would assume, right? So like 30 point something, right? And if you see that answer, you probably don't have to go any further. But if you wanted to do this also, there's nothing wrong with it. 23x equals 700. Divide each side by 23, right? And x equals 30.2. But doing like the estimation stuff before you go about going and solving it, because once you do this stuff, it's easy to make a mistake, right? But doing the basic stuff where you're just reducing fractions and coming up to an estimate, and so there's our answer. But when we just guessed, we said it was probably like 30 point something, right? So if one answer was 30.2 and another one was like 29.8, then I probably have to do the math. They're too close together, right? But if the answer choices were like 24, 26, 30, and 40 or something, so I'd be pretty confident that the answer was 30.